Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Like always, I'm Brian. So this is basically the sequel to my Dermatillomania video, and I just really want to update you guys with what's going on with me, how my progress is. I want to talk about my first session with a therapist, and I'll show you guys what my hands look like. And it's not really a success story. So if you want to find out how things have been going, stay tuned because I'm going to do it Chanley style. For a quick recap, basically, if this is your first time tuning in and you haven't seen my first video, dermatillomania is the skin picking disease. People will pick their face, chest, arms, zits, pull their hair, things like that. Mine is specific to my fingers, the skin around my fingertips mostly. And basically, I pick my skin off when I'm nervous and or just any kind of emotion, really, honestly. There's really no discerning reason why I do it at this point. I've been doing it for so long. Anyway, I digress. So basically, I had the genius idea that I was going to start self-treating myself because I wanted to stop. I want to be a good influence for my kids, and really just picking my fingers isn't good. It leaves my fingers sore. I don't get to do work as well because I'm avoiding using different fingers. It's not a pretty picture. And it just needs to stop. So my genius idea was I was going to wear gloves. And it was working out really well for me. I did really well. I stopped picking. I had a couple of pitfalls where I got nervous and I think I picked this part of my thumb off, just the side of it, one side. And then I remember what I was doing. I realized it and I put my gloves on and I stopped it. And so that was a very big success for me, actually. I did really well. My hands were getting to the point where they were almost healed, and there'd be like little flaky bits of skin that were dry or like little pieces of callus still falling off, but for the most part I had almost gotten to the point where my hands were healed. And that's when my 30-day chit ran out and I was no longer allowed to wear my gloves. And let me also throw in the fact that I was on vacation for a while during that 30-day period, and I forgot to put my gloves on most days, but I was so relaxed and I was having such a good time that I didn't even think about my fingers. I had almost forgotten I had fingers, if that makes any sense. And I didn't really pick that whole time. Every once in a while I had to put my gloves on, but not really. And it got to the point where it was actually more embarrassing to wear the gloves than it was just to not have them on, and I thought I was doing really well. So, snap back to reality, going back to being an adult and having to go back to work and things like that. I could no longer wear gloves. So that's when I got to my first mental health appointment. We'll just call it that because really it wasn't anything specific. And I showed the lady my fingers, and like I said, they looked really good. They were healed, they looked nice, and she basically, it came across as she didn't believe that I had a disorder or anything like that. And she didn't want to keep letting me wear my gloves. She basically called it a security blanket and things like that. And I almost felt like she was talking down to me. And on top of the fact that she said that she couldn't extend it for more than 30 days because, or anything past the 30 days because it would have to go to a medical board. And if it did that, there's a possibility I could get kicked out of the military because they just wouldn't want to deal with my problems. Okay, whatever. So she had the genius idea of giving me rubber bands to play with and told me to chew gum. And I tried it. And you know what I did? I don't like gum, so I never chewed gum. And, well, I mean, it's not that I don't like gum, it's just the braces and the gum it doesn't go together very well, and it's really annoying, and I end up messing up the sides of my cheeks because the brackets are rubbing funny and I bite my cheeks, and it's just not a good time. So gum's no fun. And she also gave me rubber bands, and she told me to put the rubber bands on my wrist and play with it while I'm working, or stuff, just as something to fiddle with. And I actually kept little rubber bands on my fingers so I could do this with it, and it was okay. But the only problem was I kept losing the rubber bands, or they'd fall off, or they break, and then I'm left at ground zero of not having anything to do. and it got really frustrating. Not to mention the fact that the whole time I'm sitting in this counseling session, let's call it, I couldn't tell if she was unconfident or if just English was her second language and it was giving her troubles and it was making it harder for her to talk to me. And I couldn't tell. But for the sheer fact that I know she's an educated person and she's put in that position, I want to think that she's competent. But like I said, just her body language, the air of the room and everything, I straight up just called her on her shit. I was like, I said something along the lines of, your confidence level is not reassuring to me. And a couple of very rude things that I probably shouldn't have said. And she basically just said that I needed to trust her, that her job experience did involve OCDs and things like that, and I kind of had an eye roll at that point, because even though this is kind of in the umbrella of OCD, it's a body-focused repetitive disorder. It's not a fucking OCD, at least not in my mind. And at least she didn't ask me if I was trying to kill myself, which is a positive. But by this time, I was so defeated. I felt like I had lost. The suggestions she was giving me, I didn't really follow. I didn't really want to participate in. She'd almost completely lost my focus in general. But hopefully, when I go and see her again, things will be better. So, yeah, I was pretty much defeated at this point. I had lost my ability to wear gloves at work, and I threw them on the table and I completely had forgotten about them. Like, I didn't even wear them in the house like I did usually, and I pretty much had a full-on regression, especially today at work. We're kind of at a standstill at work, and so it made me even worse than usual. I just was so bored. My skin was flaky. I don't know if you guys have this problem, like underneath my fingernails, the skin was starting to peel out and it was like sticking on my fingernails. It was a really weird sensation, so I started pulling that off. And like I said, I just had basically a complete crash today. And instead of just like picking one finger and stopping or realizing what I was doing, I felt embarrassed that I was doing it, and it only caused me to do it more. And it just was this really terrible snowball effect. And it actually, at the end of the day, I felt pretty bad about myself for picking my skin. And honestly, before I started this video is when I finally remembered to put my gloves on. So up until this point, pretty much all day, I've just been picking my fingers. And it's in a sad state. I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. Alright guys, I'm just going to pull my gloves off, and I'm going to show you what basically a day of me being unprepared and unready can cause. So, it's my thumb, my pinky, my ring finger, and then even part of my index finger. That's just the right hand. Then left hand, I pulled off a large amount of the cuticle, and on my index finger I ripped out part of the nail on the side, and then I've pretty much pulled off all the skin around this pinky, but it's a little bit difficult to see because I didn't go that deep with it. And then also on this side of my finger, it's you can see that there's part of the skin missing. So that's pretty much where I'm at now. I'm going to take some pictures of my fingers look like, so that way I can take it to my next session and show her exactly what happens, and maybe she'll have a better way to help me. And maybe I'll have some more positive news for you guys that are, looking for answers yourselves. So this really wasn't the best, or probably, I don't know if it was informative or not. If it was, let me know, guys. If this was helpful for you or you like my video, always give it a thumbs up. Please leave comments and feel free to ask me any kind of questions. I will also leave the link to the first video in here, or feel free to go to my channel and go under just videos. It should be the last one published before this one, obviously. One thing is, I've been posting a lot of pictures and things like that on Instagram, so if you guys want to keep up, I usually try to take pictures of my hands and give you guys short updates through Instagram, so feel free to go to there. That should be down in the description as well, inside of my videos. I also have lots of other social media. Yeah. This was Dermatillomania update, done Chanley style.